Let's now take a look at Ireland's progress internally. As you'll now be aware from your other learning, Ireland's progress against each goal is measured using the set of UN Global and EU agreed targets and indicators. And Ireland's progress, like the other goals, but on Goal 17, can be tracked via the GeoHive website. This data can be explored at national, county and electoral division level across Ireland. However, much of this data remains incomplete, and what is presented may represent bias towards certain targets and indicators, and is not necessarily representative of all of the action towards Goal 17 that is occurring across the country. The data on GeoHive in the main is representative of government or public sector initiatives and does not capture the work being driven by many NGOs and private sector entities. I've mentioned that the data on GeoHive in the main is representative of government and public sector initiatives and not capturing many other efforts afoot. To this end, the Department of Environment, Climate and Communications have recently conducted consultation for Ireland's Voluntary National Review 2023. And this consultation was open to all stakeholders nationally. The voluntary review is a voluntary state-led review and involves multiple stakeholders. It aims to facilitate the sharing of experiences, including successes, challenges and lessons learned, with the view to accelerating the implementation of Agenda 2030. It also seeks to strengthen policies and institutions of the government and to mobilise multi-stakeholder support and partnerships for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. Just by way of interest, the questions posed to volunteers were very practical, and I'm just going to list them out because I'd like you to think about them and reflect on how you might answer them from your own personal point of view or within the organisations you work in. So the questions posed to volunteers were: what are you, your organisation, or your sector doing to support the achievement of the SDGs? What are you, your organisation, what are your key observations related to Ireland's implementation of SDGs? What would you or your organisation suggest that Ireland do further to increase SDG implementation? What is Ireland doing well? What could Ireland improve on? And have you any ideas you would like to share on how Ireland can build back better while leaving nobody behind? So I'm not asking you to answer those questions now, but I suppose to think, when you think of SDGs, think of how you have a stakeholder in those questions and how you might answer them from your own perspective or from your professional point of view. And bear in mind, it's anticipated such open initiatives to the Irish public and organisations will be ongoing, as there will be reports arising. So please keep an eye out for these, because critical to SDG implementation is public engagement, it's citizen buy-in. And putting the voice of the public is critical in this area. Most importantly, for us in Ireland, informing our national strategy and policy. Another look at how Ireland is progressing internally is, I suppose, taking a look at Ireland's second national implementation plan for Sustainable Development Goals. So in October 22, the Government of Ireland published Ireland's second national implementation plan. And the focus of this second plan is on ensuring that the goals are better integrated into work across government and more widely. This strategic plan calls on all of us from government, from local authorities, from the business sector, from education and right to community level to renew our efforts to forge stronger partnerships and to collaborate more closely so that the goals can be achieved and so that nobody is left behind, neither in Ireland or across the globe. The plan details 5 strategic objectives, all of which feed into Goal 17, and one which specifically addresses Goal 17, and that's strategic objective 3, greater partnerships for the goals. So take a few minutes to read and familiarise yourself with the strategic objectives as set out in this plan. They're on pages 14, 15 and 16. And then I'd like you to read Chapter 7 of the National Plan. So having read Chapter 7, what strikes you most about the results of the market research presented? Based on this research, what do you think is the critical challenge identified? There are a number of very interesting case studies put forward in this document, and I'd like you to consider them and select one of those presented and share your reflection. And I just signpost you to particular ones that align very well with SDG 17. They are case studies 8, 9, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So perhaps focus in on those and select one that resonates with you